Hi, we're Betsy and Buzz, and recently our dream of owning property in Montana came true. But it was a long road getting here, with plenty of speed bumps.
Now, icicle going on.
So let's do a little recap of how we got here.
Moving to Montana.
We're moving to Montana.
After longing for the big sky after a few Montana road trips, we decided to go all in. We sold our 3-bedroom home in Dayton and bought a 23-foot travel trailer. We gave the camper a little facelift since our plan was to live in it while we explored Montana until we found a spot we wanted to settle down in. With the renovation complete, we loaded up our animals and began the 1,600-mile journey to Hardin, Montana, where we planned to stay at a KOA campground for the winter. As soon as we arrived, we started to winterproof the camper. It is Montana in the winter, after all. Buzz's dad helped a bunch. Then it was back to work. I started my new job, and Buzz began working on the campground remodel project that was already underway. We spent a lot of time outside, having fires, and just enjoying each other's company. We explored restaurants and shops and learned about the local native history. Meanwhile, we were hunting on Zillow for the perfect property. And finally one came up, and it was time to move. Okay, we're all caught up from last week. Here we go.
We'll get some caramel delights, more commonly known as samosas. And it's gonna be a perfect road fuel for us to hit the road and go check this thing out.
Samoas. Samosas are the Indian food.
Stand corrected.
Originally, we were wanting to buy property to build our own home on. But let's be honest, we do not have the cash for that. Luckily though, we could use a VA loan to buy some property with a house on it. Did you guys know I used to be in the Navy? Anyways, we were way too nervous to talk about the house on the channel because we didn't want to jinx it. It wasn't even finished being built yet. So we continued on in our daily lives, letting the realtors work their magic. We spent more time together, and I even snuck in a trip to California with some friends. Every day felt so long, just waiting to know if this would be our house or not. The home buying process is not for the faint of heart.
Okay, so we are just at this property that we've put an offer on. That has been accepted. Taking some measurements, trying to see what all we need to get going when this house will be ours.
Alright, so at this point our offer was accepted, but the house was still being built. So basically what this meant was just a couple months of close communication with the builder, getting progress reports, discussing finishes and fixtures, and visiting the site periodically to take measurements for furniture. And even though we did our homework and knew this was a good deal, we still wanted to take as much time familiarizing ourselves with the land and asking lots of questions. The builder was very kind and gracious with us as we combed over every square foot of this property together. He was really patient and understanding with me about my questions and concerns, as I had never lived on a cistern before, nor had Betsy and I ever owned a significant piece of land like this. As we continued to visit the property over the next couple months, we were really happy with how it was coming along. And we just kept finding ourselves out back just taking in that view. after about 3.5 months, 2,200 and some change pieces of cedar, about 30,000 16 gauge nails, 12,000 18 gauge nails, hundreds of other random fasteners, and then flooring and Romex and wiring and all that kind of stuff. I am now officially done with the renovation here at the KOA. I finished up this ceiling this morning, and I cut a bunch of these access panels so they have access to the junction boxes and all that stuff in the future if they need to. And yeah, it's been a good project. I'm happy with it, so it's time to move on. All right, well, we are getting ready to hit the road today. I have to go out to the property and do the home inspection. Since I'm a carpenter by trade and I've been in the building industry for about a decade, I've actually done inspections in the past and feel comfortable doing them. So we just got some gas and we're getting ready to hit the road. I got to stop in Billings and run some errands, and we'll be heading out to the property to do the inspection. Keep the ball rolling on this thing. Walking into the house on this day was the first time I'd seen it complete. As I walked through the house, there were a couple of things that jumped out immediately that I knew I would need to address, but overall, I was absolutely stunned. I could not believe this was going to be our home. As someone who works in the industry, I could see this guy took great pride in his work, and knowing the cost of some of these finishes, it was clear he valued quality in his project, especially in areas where it would have been all too easy to just cut a corner and save himself a buck. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm just filling all the sinks and the tub and everything all at once. Give us an idea, since we're on a cistern, give us an idea of what we're looking at for water pressure when multiple sinks are in use. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill up the tub. I've got this sink filled. I basically just want to fill them up full or at least halfway, and then dump it and make sure that the P-trap can take all of that water rushing at once, and then you check for leaks. Let's go ahead and pop this one, and we'll check under here. All right, she's empty, so that one's good. We'll let that keep filling up. So now we'll go ahead and do the sink. I've got about 3/4 of the way full. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the stopper, and we're gonna watch this and make sure we don't have any water anywhere here. Make sure all the seals are good. Just gonna check it right there, make sure nothing's coming down. Whenever you have a leak, it'll usually come out to the bottom of the P-trap right here. So that's empty on that side. Go ahead and empty this side. Okay, no leaks. I wish this was vented so it wouldn't have that gurgle sound to it, but that's something I can do later. During my inspection, I only found a couple small things, like correcting the venting method for the exhaust fan and a few missing window screens. After a couple weeks of final negotiations, we were able to sign the papers and began preparing to make this our home.
So all of this has been happening in the background of our lives. While we were waiting for the closing date, we moved out of the KOA and headed over to Shane's. And there, we really relaxed and spent a wonderful time with the family. We didn't record that much because we were busy just having a great time.
This is good stuff.
Do I look like someone from Star Wars? Welcome to our new home. We're thinking about it. Big differences over here. Also the color of this chick. Obsessed.
The one on the left now that it's dry. I want the green.
I still like the one on the right.
Who told you that it was too late? When was it that you started leaning that way? 4 tires cut into the clay.
Got a couch. We got a couch. Nice. Here's our couch. Beautiful, huh? Gibbs doesn't care about it. Buzz is about to leave me to go get some of our stuff from Ohio, so we have furniture. Who cares? I'm happy.
So I'm getting ready to hit the road and make the 4-day trek back to Ohio. So here we go.